everybody, and welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be sharing with you guys fictional book characters that I relate to and why. So for starters, I'm only going to be mentioning Christian fiction book characters that I relate to because honestly, if I went through all the fictional characters that I relate to, this video could go on and on and on. I could go through movie characters, TV show characters, book characters, classic book characters, theater characters, all the characters. So because of that reason, I'm only going to be going through a couple of those with you guys, and I've broken it down into just Christian fiction. If you guys like this video, I could probably even break it down even further and do like biblical fiction characters that I relate to, historical fiction characters that I relate to, contemporary characters that I relate to. But for now, I am just going to be going through my top 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Christian fiction book characters that I relate to and telling you guys why I relate to them. So without further ado, let's get into it. And these are in no particular order, by the way. So the first Christian fiction book character that I relate to is Evangeline Hamilton from More Than Meets the Eye by Karen Whittemire. Now that I think about it, I don't know if that's pronounced Evangeline or Evangeline. I've always said it Evangeline, so correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but that's what we're gonna call it today. I love that she's a free spirit. I love that she doesn't really care much of what people think of her. She's very confident in her own life, and she's just very joyful and happy despite things that she's gone through. So this is definitely one of those characters for me that I just love. They're super sweet characters. All the characters in this book I absolutely love. I can't wait for the rest of this series because I think it's going to be so good. It was the first book that I ever read by Karen Whittemire, and I absolutely adored it. So I can't wait to read more. But yeah, she is definitely a character that just I very much am inspired by and relate to. She has 2 different colored eyes. I don't know if you can tell. And that's like a major plot point throughout the novel is how people judge her because of her appearances. And she just doesn't really let that get to her very much. I mean, she does sometimes, but she also doesn't. And I think that that's just inspiring and cool, and I like that, and I can very much relate to that whole feeling of just not fitting in and trying to find your own place in the world. So she is definitely a character that I admire. Another fictional character that I relate to is Katara from the Sugar Baron's Daughters series. This is book 1 in the Sugar Baron's Daughters by Lisa T. Bergren. Now, if you follow me, you'll know that this is one of the first books that I ever reviewed on my channel, and I didn't really give it a great review because it was very difficult for me to read plot-wise, but I did really love the book character-wise. So for me, the story wasn't all that I wanted it to be, but the characters were so fun to read about. I actually really enjoyed the characters, and Katara is one of those characters that, first of all, has great fashion sense, and I'm just kidding, by the way. I just love this book cover and dress and everything. It's so perfect. This is in my favorite book covers video, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, she's a very strong female character. I really like that. I also like how she really cares about and protects her sisters no matter what. She just wants to kind of make her own way in the world, do what is best for her family, and I can really relate to that kind of passion and drive and wanting to take care of your loved ones. That's just something that I really like, and I can really relate to about this character. She can also be pretty skeptical, and I feel like I can kind of be skeptical about people and things too. So that's another way I think that we're similar, kind of. I just really like her character. I have the second book. I haven't read it yet because I'm not cool. Another fictional character that I relate to is Eleanor from the book Not My Will by Francina Arnold. This is a book that I talk about pretty much nonstop on all of my social media platforms. It's an older book. It was first published, I think, in around 1946 or 1950 something. I'm pretty sure right in between there. It's a very old book. It was contemporary when it was written, but it is not contemporary now. But basically, Eleanor has some very traumatic experiences in her life that really just lead her to grieving and just being trapped in grief. And I can very much relate to that because I went through a period in my life where grief was just a cloud that was constantly hanging overhead, and that's something that I can really relate to, and this book came into my life right around that time, and it is very much a part of my reading journey and my writing journey and how I kind of got sucked into the world of Christian fiction and discovered it as a genre, and also learned how to deal with grief and just learned some really incredible lessons about life and love and God, and I would highly recommend this book to everyone. It's clean, It is an older book, so some of the language isn't, I'm not talking like inappropriate language, I'm just talking about like older style of speaking, older way of writing. I think today in contemporary writing, we're used to like a lot of jokes and sass and funny remarks and flippant descriptions of things, and because this is an older book, it's a little bit more serious in tone, I guess, but I would still highly recommend it. This copy is falling apart, but it's okay because I have 3 others. All right, another fictional character that I relate to is the Pharaoh's daughter from Misu Andrews' book, aptly titled The Pharaoh's Daughter. In the book, the main character, the Pharaoh's daughter, goes by the name of Anip. I believe that's how you say it. I heard it that way in the audiobook, so I'm assuming that's correct. This character goes through a lot of varied emotions, and I'm a very emotional person, so can relate. She is very confused and lost a lot of the time. She gets hurt really easily. She puts her trust in things and seeks value in things that won't ultimately fulfill her, and just has a lot of issues with anxiety, and I can very much relate to that because I'm a very anxious person. She has a lot of fear, and fear is something that's just very prevalent in her life. Anxiety and faith and just things like that, and having faith even when you're stressed and anxious, are things that this book kind of deals with, and I really enjoyed this book. I do highly recommend it, but maybe if you're, I feel like a lot of biblical fiction can be picked up by people not really knowing what to expect, and certain biblical fiction books are, while they're great books, can have some more mature topics discussed in them, and this I think is maybe one of those books that wouldn't necessarily be good for younger teens. I read it for the first time when I was about 17. Yes, I had just turned 17, so I think that's a good bracket for this book. But yeah, I do highly recommend this book, and I recommend all of Misu Andrews' writing. Yeah, it's just a really good book. All right, and the last fictional character that I really can relate to isn't necessarily a fictional character. I'm also slightly obsessed with this fictional character, and that is Anastasia from the book Romanoff by Nadine Brandes. It is such a beautiful book, first of all, but it is beautiful both inside and out, and I love the main character, Anastasia, who is based off of the historical Anastasia, but this is, of course, a fantasy retelling of her life, so it's obviously a little bit different, and the things that I can relate to about this character are her spunk, her sense of humor, her just wittiness and tendency to get into trouble and say things that maybe she shouldn't say. I may or may not be exactly the same way. But more than anything, I love how fiercely loyal she is to her family, and that is something that I very much relate to, and that I am very, very passionate about as well, is being fiercely loyal to my family, my loved ones, my friends, anyone who has earned my love and trust. They like have it forever, and my inner lioness will come out if you try and harm them, just so you know. She's very protective of her family, in particular her younger brother Alexei, and everything she does is motivated by her love for her family, and of course also her need to survive, which I don't share with her, but mostly the love of the family thing I very much do share with her, and I really enjoyed this book. This book is so incredible. Let me know if you guys want me to do a video discussing specifically this book, or just focusing on this book in general in any way. Leave that in the comment section below, but I definitely highly recommend this book. It is very well done for a Christian fantasy novel. I didn't really know what to expect. I had read Fox, kind of. I'd gotten partway through, and then I just didn't finish it because it wasn't really my thing, and I had trouble connecting with the characters. But this one I read in pretty much one sitting. I started it late at night, finished it early in the morning, shed tears. We're all good. But yeah, I really do enjoy this book, and I do highly recommend it. So those are 5 fictional characters from Christian fiction that I relate to and why. If you guys want to see maybe a part 2 of this, or you want me to break it down even further and do by genre, or if you guys just have any ideas and suggestions for videos in any form, then be sure and go ahead and leave those in the comment section below. I will get to them, write them down, and make those videos for you guys as soon as possible. My name is Jenna Van Mourik. I'm an inspired writer and an inspirational fiction reader who reads, writes, and lives for Jesus. You can find all of my social media links, handles, and information in this little pop-up right over here. And you can also find those links in the description box below. I post daily on Instagram pictures of what I'm reading and what I'm doing with my life. And I also blog as often as I can, book reviews and writing advice and life updates. So if you want to go ahead and subscribe to me over there, be sure that you do that as well. The link is in the description box below. Or you can go to jennavanmourik.com. If you like this video, then be sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. Once again, I'm Jenna Van Mourik. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!